Hello, welcome to Hit the Bricks. Today we're doing it's kind of a city update. I debated what to call this particular video because it is an update. I think the biggest update is that I actually cleaned up this room. Like all the loose pieces that were not being used, I put away and I organized, which I'm sure a lot of you can relate to. That takes a little bit. Also, we're going to take a look at this MOC over here. People have asked for a little bit more information on what I did with this as far as like that lower level that's got the water drainage system in it. And then I do have a kind of a basement level there that we'll talk about. On top of that is the Jazz Club, which is pretty stock, except it is altered on the sides to make sure that it can stand alone as it is right now. So we'll take a look at that in detail. Also the kind of modular type system that it's on, that base plate, and what that means as far as going on to the rest of the city and how that might incorporate into it. So that's what we're going to take a look at today. So let's get into it. So first of all, if you're new to the channel, thanks for tuning in. What Hit the Bricks is all about is taking a look at reviewing Lego sets when they've come out, along with vintage and classic Lego set reviews. We also look at different MOCs that I find on Rebrickable or other sources along with my own. But the biggest part about the channel is this Lego City that I started about 3 months ago. Now I started this with just putting IKEA tables in here, and then this particle board, there's 3 levels of wood that I put on here that I cut in shapes that I really wanted what the city to overall kind of look like. Larger city over here, some train yards over here, and some nature in this middle part here. I still really like this overall design. I painted the edges here to exactly match this lighter tan. This is the bottom of the ocean. You can see I started with some water here to kind of give this depth so we can put some underwater creatures and such and life down there. Now, that's where we're at with the city right now. If you didn't see the other ones, I'll put a link up on top so you can kind of get caught up. I think there's 5 different city updates before this one that I kind of give you a little bit of a overview of how this all came about. I'm also working on a time-lapse type video, just a short one that kind of just shows the building up to where we're at now as well. Now that leads us into the next part of the video, which is this Jazz Club and lower water tunnel system down below and kind of the basement area, and how that has now affected how I think about the rest of the city and what I want to do with it. Essentially what this did was give me a good visualization of building with these different levels on here and finding out that these might be a little restricting for certain aspects of the city. Now I still like the overall design. I can still use these. I have these pieces of wood down here, these supports that are all the same size, so I can kind of move them around as I need to. And some of these boards are cut into smaller sections, so I can kind of take them out, put them back in. I can also obviously cut them custom or wherever I want. But if we take a look at this one here, you can kind of see that now I either have to work around this or do something or just start cutting off a little edge of it. So I think what I will do is just kind of remove these and build off of this square design, which is this right here. That's what this building is on, at least for the parts that I want to have this underground tunnel system, which is a water drainage, like a stormwater runoff type system. Not so much a sewer system as just for rainwater and such to go, but it adds like this element of underground activity, what's going on down there. It's going to have tunnel systems and such that go out throughout the city. So it doesn't need to go everywhere, every square inch of the city, just like the subway doesn't need to go throughout the entire table. But it's going to go through a good amount of it, And it will work out better just to use these square designs that are modular that fit into one another for the sections that need that tunnel or that subway system. Other sections will not need that at all. And other areas will not need this basement type area here as well, because it's going to be a landscape, or maybe it just doesn't have a building that needs that underneath. So we'll take a look at this in more detail here in just a minute, but that's kind of the overall of what I'm thinking with the city. Is it's going to be partially modular and partially not, depending on what's going on in those particular areas. Okay, so let's take a look at the mock here that I did. Like I said, the Jazz Club is all just the regular stock Lego set. And the inside, I did change the outsides, on particular on both sides and a small bit in the back as well. I have this masonry brick, this darker brick here with some extra windows, and some masonry brick and windows up here. Mainly, again, because I don't have any building butting up against this. Now, if that changes in the future, that's no problem. I'll just actually just brick these up and leave it looking like there was a window there. That's how it would probably happen if we were doing it in a real building anyway. So I think that would be kind of neat if that actually is a way that it turns out. But right now I kind of like this open down to seeing the exposed part of the subway. Put these supports here so we could see the subway, a little bit of the nougat brick behind. Going this way, I envision a subway station right here. So this will have like kind of a tunnel leading into the subway station. I wanted to make sure we could see some of that water drainage system down here. I've got the grates kind of showing the water going down into it, and you can kind of see it flowing into the bottom part there, which I had some fun with some of the water techniques, and just having just enough water in the front here so you could see what the purpose is. And then the water, as we look below the structure, we can see that there isn't quite as much water. I didn't want it really flooded. Maybe it just started to rain and it's just starting to get some water down there, but I didn't want to have like a ton of water down there, just the appearance of that's what it was doing. It was for the runoff water. Now, staying on this side here, I'll remove these little safeties and we'll take the rail car out. It gives you a better view of that wall back here with the little recesses in here, kind of like a walled up windows or doors that were there at one point. I use the grates underneath here so you can kind of see underneath into the tunnel system down below. Like I said, this is modular. I'll be taking off the different levels so we can see that a little bit more. This area here, I just kind of laid some tiles, these 90-degree tiles down here, and left this open. I'm not sure what I want to do with this, if it's going to be just a little bit of a walkway, like a sidewalk or what have you yet, so I just didn't finish that. And this, I just wanted to make sure that was open so we could see the water being drained down into that area. And then I did have a staircase here at one point built up that was going to go into the subway station. So those are just some of the ideas that I have for this side here. We can see I just have a brick built door there and a boarded up or a bricked up window here for that small building, which I'm thinking maybe some kind of utility building or something for the subway. Now, looking at this side of it, we can see a couple more of the bricked up windows, and then this tunnel system here. So it connects through here. I just put these grates on here. I just thought that would be kind of interesting to have just something else that butts up against this so you could still see it, maybe get some light through it. I'm really trying to be conscious of the fact that I'm gonna want some kind of light to come through here so we can see underneath. That's why I thought with the grates up on top here that you could still get some light down there. Now, this tunnel will continue to run on, and this one will as well. They'll run parallel to the subway track, which will go in and out of actual tunnels that we'll be able to see it. Again, this area here, like I mentioned, I'm not sure how high or low this roof line is going to be. I was thinking probably just a flat roof because I wanted to have more of an area for dining and maybe some music or what have you going on outside here. The front part of the jazz club and everything is all the same that it came with. It's just the stock jazz club, which if you haven't picked that one up, I really liked it. Big fan of music, so I liked all the musical instruments and the stage and such that they have inside. But it's a very nice building. Really happy that I picked it up. I think it's going to go good with the theme of my particular city as well. So looking on the other side here, kind of touched on this a little bit as far as this lower level being like some kind of maybe a nightclub or another restaurant or something down below, having some stairs go down here to like an alleyway. But I'm uncertain exactly how that's gonna work or if I want another building here, so I've just let the workers continue to work on that. I followed the same ideas with the bricked up windows here, and then we have the 2 tunnels that are going underneath that will connect, more likely connect unless I put something here, and then I'll just brick that up if it doesn't need to be. On this side of the pizzeria, I did add some windows and some of this masonry brick just to give it a little bit more detail, because we're gonna see that, at least for right now, we're gonna see it. I also changed the black that was here just to make this look a little bit more finished off with the chimney. One thing to mention, I did mention before that there is stairs and access to the lower tunnels from this level. There's also stairs inside of this building that's separated. There's no access from this building to this one as far as that lower level, at least not currently, but there is access to the tunnel system. On this side here, which could be considered the backside, at least if you look at these buildings here, it looks like the backside, but I did add some tile up here and some railing and some just fences to kind of finish that off. A little extra here just to kind of keep that theme that I have with the bricked up windows with arches. I just wanted to keep that consistent throughout, adding some more of that lighter masonry brick and some darker along that edge there. Here I just use these larger ones. I kind of wanted to again make it look like there was windows there at one point, but I wanted to just keep this just a little bit different design. I didn't want to do this arch everywhere because I feel like I was kind of getting a lot with the archways and tunnels, and I didn't want to just have everything just bombarded with that, so I used these instead, which I thought looked pretty good, along with some of the masonry bricks. And then here I just have some openings that you can see through. If you watch the other video, I'll put a link up on top, kind of shows those as well. But those are just kind of like, just so everything isn't perfect, and also you can see inside there, just get some access. Here I put some vines here and a little bit more water, so it gives a little bit more interest and kind of inviting you to look inside that. So let's go ahead and take off these levels and we're just kind of look at them one by one. Okay, so let's peel back every layer of this. I won't take off every part of the jazz club because, like I said, it's all really the same. But we can take off the jazz club from this level here. So I've used this standard just tiles here with a couple of these pieces that have some studs up on top so it can connect but easily be taken off. You can see the structures here a little bit better for the support. Try to make this just the same size of a standard base plate, and that's how I kind of got to the length it is. But I'll be making my own custom sizes too that won't necessarily have to be quite this large, which will mean that not all the basement or the subfloor type areas need to be quite this tall. We needed this tall or close to this height for the subway, but that won't be for every single building. Some of them maybe only have to be half this height. So if we turn around here, it kind of gives you a better view of this large space. So there's a lot of space in here, like I said, to make, I thought maybe a nightclub or speakeasy or something to that effect, or just maybe like a fancy restaurant that's just more exclusive that you go down to. You can see the stairway to the lower underground area here. Of course, I'll put some more detail around that, but I just wanted to make sure that was worked in so it wasn't forgotten when we need to actually kind of build this up and get to the lower level. This here is probably just going to be another support that goes all the way up to the top. This is the back side of that we saw behind the railroad tracks there of that nougat brick, but it adds a nice touch into here. We have this section here, which isn't really finished off in the inside at all, other than making sure that I've got that stairway going down there. This does come off independently and kind of show what I did as far as like building it up. But pretty simple, but I liked how it turned out. And here we can start to see the lower part, a little bit more of the grate system that goes underneath the tracks, and then the stairs that are going down into there and some of the individual rooms. Can take this level off here now. This will be a little bit more sturdy when that wall is actually on there. So here we can see that bottom level again. We've got extra room here. This kind of goes down from the building that was off on the side. That's got a little door that goes in here. So this is kind of a closed off room except for that door. And then we have the tunnels that go all the way through. I bricked off this particular room here that also has a jail cell, and there's a prisoner in there right now. So that's something that I want to develop as far as a story a little bit later. I want to have these tunnels connect to the police department and some other city hall and what have you. So I think that'd be interesting to tell stories down the line, but that's why I have that in there. Just a kind of a little bit of a teaser or a little bit of a reminder for me that that's the storyline. Over here we have a little bit larger room. I wanted to have this a little bit larger because this is underneath the jazz club and that sub level right underneath the jazz club. So we've just got some more supports for the train and some just kind of like openings here so you can kind of get some light and see into it. As you can see, the tunnel goes all the way through over here, and then also all the way through on this side here. So we've got quite the tunnel system going through just this one square, and then think about that going out throughout the entire city. We kind of take a look at this before, but this is the kind of showing what this water drainage, stormwater drainage is and how it flows into the bottom here. This particular tunnel is going to have more water in it, and then the other ones are just going to have kind of a sprinkling of water. I thought about making some areas of town maybe having just had some water, some rain, maybe some storms, and having some more water, some effects with that. We'll see. We're also not exactly sure where the water is going to drain to at this point, if it's just going to be some water basins, if it's going to go into the main lake, sea area that I'm going to have. So we'll see how that develops. But at least if the structures underneath here is in place throughout the city, it gives me the opportunity to expand upon that and just have some fun with that down the road. I did put some piping down here and some detail with some of the rocks and just some of the debris kind of laying there. That I plan to put more detail as we go on, but I just kind of wanted to get the basics down and kind of get some more of these squares down so we can see how that's going to develop, rather than getting bogged down and putting every single detail that I want to in just this spot. That would take a very long time, and I kind of want to see how it all blends together before I get too bogged down in just one of the squares. If you made it to the end of this video, I really appreciate it. It is a longer video than I normally do, but this is a larger project than I normally take on as well. I've had a little bit more time, so it's been kind of nice to tackle something, and it's given me a lot of ideas of what to do with the rest of the city. to be able to do an underground and a subway level on top of the actual building structure should be a lot of fun. If it's something that sounds like fun to you, then you can hit the subscribe, bell notifications, and of course, if you like this video, go ahead and hit like. You must kind of like it if you stuck around this long. Either that, or I know you personally. So one or the other. But I do appreciate everybody watching. I'm not sure what the next video is going to be. Maybe an update yet, doing more of the tunnel system. Otherwise, I do have other videos in mind as well. So thanks for watching again, and we'll see you next time.